Hi, everybody. My name's Sean, and I am mediocre at Star Wars cards. And there's no game replays today. Just a quick run through the Star Wars Unlimited tournament that I attended this past weekend, May the 4th, here in London. I went to the Rule Zero location out in East London, which I hadn't been to before. I didn't know that it even existed, but trotted along on a nice sunny Saturday morning out to East London, and played in a tournament with 31 people in attendance. It was a really, we'll get into some of the pros and cons in a little bit, but really nice venue down in the basement, which was not the best, but we had a nice big space. They had the prequels projected up onto a screen on the wall, which was nice. They had some background Star Wars music going on. It was right near the London Stadium, so that's where the 2012 Olympics was held, currently the home of the West Ham Football Club. So it was a nice little space to go to. In the end, it was taken down by Krish. Krish Desai. Krish played Bobber Green for the day. So I played Bobber Green as well, but he clearly played it well. He played with his showcase Bobber Green as his leader. So he went 5-0. It was a 5-round tournament. Sorry, he played Bobber Green. Some of the 4-in-1s, there was a Palpy Yellow, there was a Bobber Yellow, another Bobber Green, and two Sabine Greens. And I suppose if you're interested in the meta of different places, there felt like there was, you'll see why I say this in a minute, but there was a lot of aggro decks in the meta here. There was a lot of Sabine, quite a bit of Leia as well. But in the end, so that the quality really shone out. And Krish took it down. Krish won a case for his efforts, which again is something that I'll point to in a minute. But it was a good day out. I ran Bubble Green. In the end, I definitely went back and forward a lot, to the point where on Friday night I was still seriously considering pivoting to Sabine Green. Again, fairly standard K-Todd list if you've seen it before. I know it says it's mine, but it's absolutely not. The recruits are really, really handy. I probably run 3 if I played it again. The Crafty Smugglers were great. The Bubble was great. What else? The Gamma Guards were absolutely brilliant. Really enjoyed playing them. They were a really, really good ad. Obviously, I had my usual amount of luck with Greedo. I didn't successfully discard anything other than ground units all day. A couple of things that didn't happen for the day was Vader didn't see play. I did not get Vader out once, again, for reasons that will become obvious in a minute. And I didn't ramp pretty much at all day. And again, I think that was the right thing to do, but it meant that my Super Laser Techs and my resupplies didn't see a great deal of play. In the board, I was really, really more worried about control decks. I sort of felt confident and comfortable with my plan for aggro decks, but I really was worried that people would take the Vader Blue that was successful in the US last week and roll with that. And I just wasn't quite sure what my plan was going to be for fairly heavy control. So I had the Change of Heart in there, the Emperor's Legion, the Walkers, just to try and have some bigger stuff and keep some control and things like that. In the end, it didn't matter because I didn't need any of them because I didn't face a control deck all day. So my day, opening round, I lost against a Leia Red, which clicked really, really nicely. I went 0-2 against it. It was just way too fast for me. I couldn't stabilize at all. I'd waylay something, they'd drop 2 more things behind it. It just, by the time I was getting to my flip turn in both games, I was already well behind and wasn't able to catch up. I made some inroads, but I was way too slow. But then I came back in the next game and did the things that I wanted to do. So in these games, I was able to stabilize. I was able to, bounce a character a turn and things like that, and just stabilize the board, and just get to that flip turn in a position where we were mildly even and just batter from there. So got to 1-on-1. Then this was closer than my first round. My first round was a blowout, but the second games I went 0-2 again, but it was fairly close. I was a surprise strike away from making it 1-on-1. but just couldn't draw into what I needed. Two fairly close games, but again, I wasn't able. I know that um, mid decks are supposed to be favored against aggro, and I was getting a bit frustrated at this point that I was 1 and 2, but um, there's quite a bit of variance in unlimited, because you don't have access to your deck, your draws and things like that. Yeah, you can mulligan for the kind of stuff that you're looking for, but I wasn't able to find my removal in the way that I wanted to, and I probably was playing suboptimally as well. Anyway, balanced it out with 2 and 2 against the layer red. Okay, I was probably getting quite accustomed to playing against aggro at this point, having played 6 games against aggro in the morning. Once again, it's the same stuff. It's the same story as when I was winning. I was able to stabilize. I was able to keep their stuff off the table. I was able to, whether it was waylay or battling with crafty smugglers and taking stuff off, whether it was, I think in a couple of these games, I was ECLing ships into clear space. With the 7th Fleet Defender and still holding damage in space. So I was able to do all those kinds of things. So I went into the final round 2 and 2. So my expectations of the day was I was hoping to go 50-50. I think I'd sort of said to people, if I win one round, I'd be happy. Given at Twickenham, I didn't win any rounds and dropped early. In the last round, disappointingly, I went 2 again. Wasn't able to quite crack the going above 500. Same story as for the whole day. The big thing that I took away from that, other than the fact that none of these games are auto wins. They're all, the pilot skill you need to be able to get sequencing right and know your lines and things like that is as difficult as any card game. I heard somebody saying last week, you'll have to be clever to play these games, and that's definitely true. But I was still quite frustrated at the end of the day that I didn't, I took Bobber, worried about control decks, but comfortable with my battle plan against aggro decks, and then faced nothing but aggro decks and still only went 2 and 3. So a lot of that I think comes down to reps. A lot of it comes down to playing suboptimally. And if you want to get good at these things, you just need to play and play and play and play and play and put in that targeted practice, right? And I didn't. But in my heart of hearts on the way in, I had told myself that ideally I'd finish top 20 out of 32. I didn't think that I'd probably go above 500, but I really wanted to finish in the top 20 out of 32, and I finished 18th of 31. So I achieved the objective of what I was hoping for the day, which was that I didn't get completely blown out, and I played well in patches, just not consistently. And there's a lot of work if I want to be better at Star Wars Unlimited. There's a lot of work that I need to do. In terms of pros for the day, the people at the event on the whole, the people that I met were absolutely brilliant, had lots of great chats. We were playing in a basement. We'd go out up onto sort of a balcony overlooking the canal in between games and talk and share tips and have a laugh. And it was really good fun. And the venue, the tournament was pretty well run. Lots of good people, lots of good times. The tournament was run to time, which was nice. We didn't, start horribly late or finish horribly late, which was excellent. So definitely one that if you got the opportunity to go to Rule Zero and play a tournament, I would highly recommend it. The only downside, I'd say, probably the big downside for me, was I still have personal issues with the way that prize support is distributed in the game. In my experiences, at least, anyway. I can't speak for other tournaments, but it was £30 for entry, and everybody who finished, I think, outside the top 12. So the majority of people who attended the tournament got 1 pack or 2 packs. So you're looking at best sort of a £10 return for your £30 investment. And I'm not here to begrudge any organizers or anything like that making a profit. They absolutely should make a profit from these kinds of things if you're putting these things on. But the person who finished in first place got 6 boxes worth, and I came away with 1 pack and 2 organized play packs. And I'm firmly of the belief that if you are good enough to win these kinds of tournaments, if you have the skill of it, you probably have the resources as well. So rewarding people who already have the cards with more cards doesn't quite sit right with me. And I think that that's something that I would like tournament organizers to take a much closer look at, to think about, because if you want to maintain a game, if you want to encourage people to come along, bashing them when they don't do well is not, in my experience, the way to keep people engaged with the game. The people at the top end play because they want to win, because they want to beat the best, and you've got tournament foil cards and things like that. Like, they get rewarded with stuff that's unique to them. Giving them more of what they already have, as opposed to those at the bottom who could probably use it. Doesn't strike me as right. So that was my only real comment for the day. So what's next? I've shelved Bobber Green for a little bit. I find it fragile is not the right word. I think my two favorite leaders in the game are definitely Bobber with his ability to re-resource and Han with his ability, that curve in this game, that ability to go fast. I really enjoy it. I really like it, and I'd like to play more of it. But I feel like with Bobber Green, there's quite a lot of decisions to be made around, particularly when to use the ECL and things like that. And so what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to pivot to Bobber Yellow for a little bit, and my next few videos will be me testing out Bobber Yellow and maybe another homebrew that I'm cooking up, depending on how much time I have to think about how dumb that's going to be. Trying to get my reps around Bobber Yellow, and the fact that it's got a 30 base, the fact that it still retains a lot of the things like Waylay. I don't have to think about ramping quite so much. I feel like it could be a better fit for me and my playstyle. So I'm going to be playing that. I have no tournaments on the horizon, so it will just be playtesting. I'm going to do some videos with Carabast and things like that as well. So that'll be my next steps. Let me know if you've got any questions in the chat, in the section below in the comments. Make sure to like and subscribe, tell people what I'm about, and yeah, thanks very much for watching, and don't forget that Super Laser Tech is the best card in Star Wars Unlimited. Thanks very much, everybody.